McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Welcome in to the MAC. Chase McNutt joining you live here on the McAlester Radio YouTube live stream page as the Lady Buffaloes are trying to bounce back from a Tuesday loss to the Coweta Tigers, 3-1. Now they're going to be taking on the Roughers of Muskogee. The Lady Buffaloes and the Lady Roughers met back last month, really not even that long ago, just a couple of weeks ago, back on August the 30th in the MacTown Throwdown Tournament. Muskogee would win that one. In the tournament play, it's only the best of 3 instead of best of 5. And Muskogee won that 2-0, so they won the first set 25-21, won the second set 27-25. So the last one was a barn burner, a close matchup. I would expect we would get something like that tonight. The Lady Buffaloes mentioned they're coming off a loss on Tuesday to Coweta, 3-1 for McAlester. They're on a 2-game losing streak, currently sit at 14-16 on the season. For Muskogee, they're 9-8. They're also on a 2-game losing streak. For the Roughers, they most recently have lost to Bixby, and that was back on Tuesday. That was 3-0. They were swept 25-7, 25-11, and 25-16. And then before that, they played the number 8 team in 4A, Tecumseh, at the Chickasha tournament. They fell in 2 straight sets because it's a tournament. You only have to win 2 out of 3. 25-11 and 25-11. Before that, they had ripped off 3 straight, all on the 7th. Once again in the Chickasha tournament, they fell in the final of that one to Tecumseh, and then they fell to Bixby earlier this week. For McAlester, I mentioned they've lost 2 in a row. They fell to Coweta 3-1. Before that, they fell to Glenpool in the Wagner tournament, 2-0. Again, it's tournament play, so you just got to win 2 sets. Before that, they'd won 2 in a row over Tahlequah Sequoia, that is, and Wagner, 2-0, 2-0. So for the Lady Buffaloes, this is one of their final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regular season games before they have the regional tournament in October. So for now, we're about 3.5 minutes away from the start of this one. The Lady Buffaloes going to be wearing their black on black, gold numbering and lettering with white and gold striping along the neckline and along the arms. And then on the Muskogee side, it looks like they're going to be wearing green on green with black numbering and lettering and white trimming. So for right now, it's 6:42. I believe we're going to get a start here at 6:45. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll send it to our commercials because we are brought to you by Consignment Exchange, Freedom Ford, and McAlester Clothing Consignment. We're being sponsored by Consignment Exchange. I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old, and the connection is my great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now, my Nana and Papa and Aunt Cleora have continued it with the idea to give a place where folks can buy quality previously owned furniture. Now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell. Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is. We'll be right back. You are watching McAlester Lady Buffalo Volleyball on our McAlester Radio YouTube page.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Welcome back to the MAC now out of that timeout as the Lady Buffaloes and the Lady Roughers of Muskogee are getting ready to do battle right here in McAlester for the second time this year. Both teams played each other back here, as I mentioned, in the MAC Town Throwdown. I also should give an update on the Muskogee uniforms. I mentioned they're wearing their green on green. The jerseys are white with green sleeves, green numbering, and lettering as well across the front and the back. Now, it looks like we may be getting a prayer and national anthem coming up here in a moment as both teams are on their respective sides getting ready for this one to get started. So I'll send it on over to the PA as you guys can listen live while the starters are announced and the national anthem.
Good evening, and welcome to the McAlester Activity Center, home of the McAlester Lady Buffaloes. Thank you for coming out tonight as our Buffaloes will be taking on the Muskogee Roughers. McAlester Athletics is taking nominations for the McAlester Athletic Hall of Fame. Get your nomination forms at the athletic webpage, www.mcallisterathletics.org. The Oklahoma Secondary School Athletic Association and the McAlester Public Schools promote good sportsmanship by its student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Spectators are asked to support tonight's game by refraining from derogatory comments or behavior. We ask you to support the competitors, the coaches, and the officials in a positive and sportsmanlike manner. Remember, whether you're on the court or in the stands, be a good sport. Fans, we'd like for you to stand, please. Gentlemen, remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. Before the playing of the anthem, we will recognize a moment of silence so that you may reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in another silent activity. Please be respectful to the others around you during this moment of silence. Thank you. I apologize, but once again, we're having trouble with our Wi-Fi. Instead of the national anthem, let's just say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Attention, salute, flag. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, let's get up on our feet and let's make some noise. The tonight's starting lineup for the Lady Bucks. Number 1, senior Jalen Moscato. Number 2, senior Elena Christie. Number 3, senior Hallie Bass. Number 7, junior Kylie Glover. Number 17, senior Hannah Harrison. Number 25, senior Maddie Harvey. Number 26, senior Logan Bradish. The Lady Bucks are coached by my favorite, Coach Chris Burns. Assisted by Miss Samantha Moore. And our lovely manager, Kyra Johnston. Our R1 for tonight's game, Gary Trevlin. Our R2 is Jason Berry. Linebackers Preston Roberts and Nathan Marcado. Ladies, let's play some ball.
All right, as you guys just heard, we're getting ready to get underway live here from the MAC. Lady Buffaloes trying to grab their 15th win of the season. 2 games under 500 right now, trying to make it 1 game under for Muskogee. They're going for their 10th win of the season as McAlester has played 13 more games than what Muskogee has up to this point. Again, Muskogee, they're a 6A team, McAlester a 5A, so Muskogee playing down a class right here tonight. McAlester playing a team up a class. It's always a tougher competition when you're playing a team above your class. But for the Lady Buffs, they got really close last time. Mentioned they fell in 2 straight sets, but they were both close, 25-21 and then 27-25. So fairly close, and then they're going to get another shot at them here this evening.
Muskogee won the coin toss and have elected to serve first.
And Muskogee, they won the toss, so they're going to be serving first here, going from left to right. As you'll be able to see right here, once again, we are live on our YouTube stream only, no radio stream along with it. And for the Buffaloes, they will not be playing again after tonight for another 12 days when they're here at home hosting a top 11 5A team in Edison Prep. So for your Lady Buffaloes, Logan Bradish, Jalen Moscato, Elena Christie, Ellie Bass, Kylie Glover, and Hannah Harrison, the starting 6 for McAlester. I think we are just about ready to get underway. Once again, Muskogee will be serving first to start here. All right. Whistle's off. Ball's up, and we're underway. Moscato on the return over to Bass. The setup to Christie going for the kill. Sends it out of the backside. Christie at times has a little bit too much mustard on it on the returns. We've seen some kill opportunities just kind of float past that line. But when it's inside, especially at that strength, it's hard to return. Moscato once again digs it out over to Bass at the net to Bradish. She punches it over. The Roughers have it back on their side. Set up for a kill. Backside hit by Bass. Bass to Christie up in the air. Moscato's got to just hit it over. And she does back to the Roughers. The Roughers are set up now, going for a kill out of the back corner. McAllister's tied it back up here. One apiece. Logan Bradish now back to serve. Maddie Harvey on the floor. Coming in for Hannah Harrison. Bradish with the serve. Dug out by a Rougher into the out-of-bounds side, and that's a McAlester point. That's going to be an ace for the Lady Buffs. They take an early 2-1 lead here. Bradish back again for the service. Dug out by the libero for the Roughers. Far side. Into the net. McAlester takes an early 3-1 lead.
One McAlester.
Service again by Bradish. Backside Roughers with the setup. It's a deep hit. Not able to get a kill opportunity at the net. To set up a spike by Moscato. It's saved by the back libero for Muskogee. Christie knocks it over to Bass. The setup to Moscato again. Almost had a kill, but a diving save on the Rougher side. And a two-person attempt on the hit there leads it to going into the net for the Roughers. So now Bradish once again to serve. McAlester has scored 4 points with her back there. And man, pretty strong kill that time for the Roughers to get back into it. It's now 4-2. You can see on the opposite side that the Roughers have a good contingency of just their JV and younger grades sitting in the stands to support them. That makes all the difference in the world, especially at an away game. So the Roughers with service again, down by 2. It's a deep one, dug out of the back by Lexi Peacoat. Over to Glover. Glover with the kill. It's returned. Set up for the Roughers. Just a little tap over the net. Moscato with the setup to Bass. Back to Christie. And Christie is going to be, wow, the Roughers actually dig that out and get a point. Wow. Very pinball-like, going back and forth until finally it's shot over the net for the Roughers. Sometimes it's better to be lucky. So McAlester now has their lead dwindled from 3-1. It's 4-3. Still on top, though, on the high side. Roughers service. It's going to be a service ace. Glover not able to dig it out of the right side, or the near side, I should say. So service once again for Muskogee. We're all knotted up at 4 apiece. Pass over to Moscato. Moscato with the kill. No Rougher around it, and the Lady Buffs are back on top now, 5-4.
John Roberts and Muskogee. Jeremy Moscato.
Moscato on the service now, nursing a 1-point lead for McAlester. The Rougher side a little tip over, and we've seen a couple of that. Kind of looks like both sides are just asleep here to start. A couple of those soft tappers have gotten down. And again, we're all knotted up here at 5 apiece here in set number 1, what is a best of 5. So the first to win 3 sets, McAlester, they played 4 of those on Tuesday. Again, in what was a loss to the Tigers. Service by the libero for the Roughers. Moscato digs it out over to Bass at the net to set up to Glover. And we're going to say Muskogee was on the net, so McAlester gets a point. It looks like Glover would have had the kill anyways. So 6-5 Buffaloes. It's over to Elena Christie now for her serve. Christie with the service. The Roughers on the backside, the setup. The spike over. Glover saves it. Bass to set up once again to Glover. It's hit at the net and falls inbounds for a McAlester point. Would have been a McAlester point regardless, as it was touched by a Rougher after it went over the net. Christie again on the serve. Dug out by the Roughers on the backside. Far side kill attempt saved by Christie, and it hits the scoreboard, and that was just an unfortunate bounce.
Maddie Harvey and McNutt. Rail Beckers and Laura Muskogee and serve.
We've got a sub on the Muskogee side. For McAlester, it remains the same. Hannah Harrison, Kylie Glover, Lexi Peacoat, Jalen Moscato, Maddie Harvey, and Ellie Bass. Harvey with the hit over to Bass. The setup at the net. Glover with the kill opportunity, but it's returned. Bass once again the setup. Moscato going for the kill. And she gets it off the backside of a Rougher. Goes out of bounds after touching her. McAlester up 8-6 now early in set 1. Ellie Bass back to serve now. The Roughers have the setup at the net, and too long of a hit misjudged by the front line player, and it hits the net. And that resorts to another McAlester point. It's 9-6, a 3-point lead, matching their largest lead already here of the first set. Here's Bass once again with the serve, far side at the net. The setup for a kill. A little strong, but Harvey on the back saves it over to Bass, and Bass to Moscato far back, has to just knock it over and not able to, thanks to just being that deep, made it a little bit harder to get over the net. So it's 9-7 now. It's back to the Roughers for the service. Logan Bradish on the floor now for the Buffaloes. Service by Muskogee. Dug out by Harvey over to Bass at the net. The setup for Glover rises and knocks it in the backside for a point. McAlester goes up by 3. It's 10-7. Again, this is their largest lead, hovered around 3 a couple different times. We'll see if they can extend it here. Glover once again on the serve. It's a good one. The Roughers with the opportunity far side. They just knock it over at the net. Harrison hits it over to Bass. The Bass, the setup for Moscato, rises and sends it through the back. It's going to be a Roughers point as it went out of bounds. So again, not really able to get past that 3-point lead. That's been their largest so far.
Jones serve.
So back to the Roughers. Cameron Jones on the serve. Not a very strong one. Moscato over to Bass. Bass to Bradish at the net for the kill, and it falls out after hitting a rougher, but that's a McAlester point. Nice job by Bradish on the kill. It's 11-8. Once again up by 3. Goes to Maddie Harvey now. Hannah Harrison steps off. Elena Christie back onto the floor right at the M. She's tying her shoe. But it's back over to Harvey. Harvey on the service. The Roughers dig it out. Set up near side. Not a strong kill. Over to Bass. Bass the setup to Moscato. Pushes it far to the Roughers. Another setup. A soft tapper is hit by Bass. Over to Glover. Glover to Moscato at the net. Knocks it over, but the Roughers are there. Far back kill opportunity. It's tipped. McAlester has it. Bass over to Moscato. The kill opportunity. It's tipped twice. And I think that might have been the third hit. It was not. It was very close to it, though. McAlester on the return. Here's Moscato. And she gets the kill that time. Finally, McAlester breaks that 3-point threshold. They go up by 4. It's now 12-8. Lady Buffs on top here in set number 1. Maddie Harvey once again back for service. 2 Roughers going on the return. It's at the net, just barely tapped over, and then Moscato almost got a sneaky point there. The Roughers very awkwardly have to get it over. They're not going to. And the 3-hit minimum, or maximum, I should say. McAlester gets another point. They go up by 5 now. It's 13-8, their largest lead of the evening. And we're only in the first set, but Harvey service again, her third in a row. The Roughers on the return. Glover, the setup to Bass at the net. Over to Christie, the spike down, but it's saved. No kill. Back over to the Roughers. They return it. Harvey digs it out. Over to Bass. The 2-hand setup to Moscato. A soft tapper falls in for the Lady Buffs. I believe that's 3 hits, and it is. So it started out kind of slow. Mentioned both teams looked a little sleepy. It seems like McAlester has woken up a little bit. It's back to Harvey once again. McAlester up by 6 here. Dug out by a Rougher. It's in an awkward spot, though. Not able to get a spike opportunity, but they send it over. Back to Bass. Moscato rises up to soft tapper to the near side, where there was some open court. Results in another point. McAlester on I believe this is a 4-0 run. Actually, I believe it's a 5-0 run. So 15-8. McAlester scored 5 in a row. The Roughers on the return. Backside Bass and Glover almost run into each other, but Harvey, the setup over to Bradish. Bradish with the kill opportunity. The Roughers have it back. They'll return it into the net. They get a 6-0 run by the Lady Buffaloes. They're up 16-8 here in set 1. It's back to Harvey now. Her 7th serve in a row. The Roughers the setup on the return. It's a soft tapper, and Glover trips over Bass, but Bradish saves it from the out-of-bounds side to Christie, who gets it over. Nice save by the Lady Buffaloes. At the net, digging it out, but not able to get it back up for a return, and the Roughers finally stop the bleeding and stop what was a 6-0 run by the Buffaloes. It's now 16-9. The Roughers down by 7. Their first service in a while. Moscato, a hit that goes off awkwardly farther back, but Glover sets it up to Bass, who sends it back over to the green side. The Roughers far side tips it over. Bass to Glover. Glover up now to Christie. Christie will just soft tap it over for another point. They've done that a couple times now. It's kind of a little sneaky play there where they just send it quickly over when maybe you're not expecting it. And it's worked out so far as Bradish goes back for another serve. It's a good one. It's a deep one, too. The Roughers on the return. A far spike attempt that's dug out by Bradish. Bradish over to Bass at the net now. Moscato, the two-hand punch. Near side, just have to send it over. Back to Christie. Christie over to Bass. The Bass, the setup back to Moscato. And that is sent over for a McAlester point. The Roughers block it at the net, but it falls off on their side. McAlester goes up 9-18. They're doubling up the Roughers here. It's an 8-1 run by the Lady Buffaloes. Bradish with the service once again. Over to Muskogee. They'll send it back over. Harvey with a nice return setup. Pass over to Moscato. Moscato's blocked but falls once again on the Roughers side. And McAlester is the beneficiary. 19-9. And McAlester on a 9-1 run. They lead it 19-9. We'll take our first time out. We'll be right back. You're listening to McAlester Volleyball on our radio YouTube page.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back to the MAC. McAlester with a service ace right out of the timeout from Bradish. McAlester now. Welcome back to the MAC. McAlester with a service ace right out of the timeout from Bradish. As Bradish now with the service up by 11, 20-9. The Roughers on the return. Blocked at the net by Christie, but it is returned. And the kill off the backside sent a little far out by Bass. It leaks across the out-of-bounds line. So back to the Roughers now for their serve, and it's 20-10. Once again, doubling up the Roughers is McAlester, trying to get a set 1 win here. Roughers on the serve. Peacoat, I beg your pardon, over to Bass. Bass to Glover, backside saved by the Roughers. Far side spike opportunity, and the kill goes point to the Roughers. It's 20-11 now. Well, McAlester looking much more sharp than they did on Tuesday. And that's not to say that they looked bad on Tuesday, because they did not. Played that very well in all 3 sets. Just weren't able to come out with it in a couple of close ones. The Roughers on the serve. Glover takes an awkward bounce off of her hands, but is set up for Christie, who sends it over. The Roughers with the kill opportunity and right to an open spot on the court. There was a lot of room, and they found it. So 3 straight now back for the Roughers. They trailed at 20-9. It's now 20-12. McAlester still up by 8, though. Service by the Roughers. Comes off Glover awkwardly, and Moscato with the save over to Bass, who sends it over. The Roughers at the net. Backside kill counts. Landed in. 20-13. The Roughers have scored 4 straight now. For McAlester, they're still in a good spot. The Roughers have to get double just about what they have right now to win this first set, if not more, because it's win by 2. Harvey over to Bass. Bass to Moscato. It's tipped, but a Rougher sets it back up near the net. Soft tip over. Smartly played. Found an open spot. McAlester now giving it up to the Roughers, going on a run on their own. It was the same thing Tuesday between the Buffs and the Tigers of Coweta. It was a game of runs each time. So for Muskogee, they're going to serve once again, this time down by 6. Harvey with the hit over to Bass. Glover with a strong arm. It would have gone out, but it hit a Rougher on the backside, which leads to a McAlester point. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes it's better to be lucky. So Moscato goes down for her first serve. And it's going to be a service ace, not able to be handled by a Rougher on the backside. It's a little bit too strong for her, and Moscato makes it an 8-point advantage, 3 points away from a set 1 victory. Here's the service again by Moscato, not a hard one. Dug out awkwardly near the net. Sent over one-handed. Bass set up over to Glover, who finds an open spot and makes it a 9-point lead, 23-14. Lady Buffs just 2 points away from a set 1 victory. And it goes back to Moscato once again on the service. It's a long one. The Roughers have a setup here. The tap over, back to Moscato, over to Bass. She'll get a setup to Glover, who just punches it. The Roughers have it. They'll send it over. Backside, that's McAlester point. 24-14, back to a 10-point lead. So game point here for the Lady Buffaloes. Again, trying to go up 1-0 on sets. Moscato on the serve. The Roughers, the send over. And wow, Harvey dug that out, and it did clear the net. Back to the Roughers, a kill opportunity, and they found an open spot. That was on the far side, near the sideline, fell in. It's 24-15 now. 9-point advantage for the Lady Buffaloes. So, as I mentioned earlier, it's still set point as McAlester has 24. And it's a deep one. It goes out, and McAlester wins the set. 25-15. We'll go ahead and take our first break. Our second break in between sets here. We'll be right back. You're listening to McAlester Buffalo Volleyball right here on our McAlester Radio YouTube page.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back. We are just about ready for set number 2 getting underway here as McAlester won the first set 25-15. It looks like for the Lady Buffs, Logan Bradish, Hannah Harrison. Actually, Harrison's going to come out for Maddie Harvey. Kylie Glover, Ellie Bass, Jalen Moscato, and Elena Christie, the 6 starters for the Buffaloes here for set number 2. They are also going to start with the first service. And it looks like it's still going to be, or it's actually going to be Bradish. She was not the last server for the Buffs. It was Moscato. So the first service here of set number 2, and we are underway. The Roughers send it over. Glover dives for it. Bradish with the setup. And Bass just sends it over. A prayer from the backside, and it clears. The Roughers with a one-hand send into the net. And McAlester goes up on top 1-0, just as they did in set number 1. So far it's held true that the person that scores first has won the set. We'll see if that changes here in set number 2. Bradish on the service again. The libero for the Roughers digs it out. Far side spike opportunity, and it's just awkwardly played. Hits the scoreboard, which leads to a McAlester point. Looked like a miscommunication on what was wanted and what was expected from the setup and the person coming for the kill. And it just kept going and hit the scoreboard. And Bradish, she sends it right into the net. So it's now 2-1. Roughers get a point back. Lexi Pico checking in, and Bradish will come out. Glad you guys are joining us, for those of you that are on our YouTube page. We've got a service ace by Muskogee. And that one was just misplayed. Looks like Pico thought that it was going to go a little bit deeper. Maybe Maddie Harvey did as well, but fell about middle of the pack in between the front and back line. And now the Roughers even it up at 2. Muskogee on the service. And Harvey and Glover, a miscommunication, a multi-hit at the same time leads to an errant drive off of that hit that time. It goes into the net. It's 3-2. So the Roughers with the early lead here, their first lead of the second set. Glover on the setup over to Harvey. The high hit over to Moscato with the 2-hand send, and it's just tapped by the Roughers. And Christie sends it over to the open spot smartly and ties it up. It'll go back to the Buffaloes for service, and I believe it's Jalen Moscato, and it is. We've got a substitution as well for the Roughers. Also, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night, the McAlester Buffaloes are going to be taking on the Ada Cougars. That one will be on KNED, also right here on our YouTube page for the live stream. And the Roughers out of bounds on the hit leads to a McAlester point. 2 in a row for the Lady Buffaloes. It's 4-3. Moscato once again on the service. The Roughers sending it back over. It's blocked, and Moscato looks like she slipped trying to step up and not able to get the return back. So it's 4-4. Second set so far has been very back and forth. It started out that way in set number 1 until we got to 10-8 when McAlester was leading, and then McAlester goes on a 9-1 run. Bass at the net to Christie. The kill opportunity is blocked. The Roughers have it back. They'll send it over. Moscato on the setup to Bass. Bass over to Glover, who rises and kills it out of the backside. That's it. McAlester gets a point. They go up by 1 on the high side. 5-4 Lady Buffaloes. Elena Christie goes back for the serve now. It's a low one straight into the net. So it goes back to Muskogee. We're all even up at 5. We've got a substitution on both sides. Lexi Pico coming in. Elena Christie subs out. Hannah Harrison in as well with Kylie Glover, Ellie Bass, Jalen Moscato, and Maddie Harvey. Moscato digs it out over to Bass. The setup to Glover, rises and hits the far side, man. She does a really good job on finding those deep open corners. She's always got a lot of power on it. She's got a smile on her face. And Pico will sub out for Bradish. 6-5. And Ellie Bass goes back for her first service. The Roughers with the kill opportunity. It's blocked at the net by Harrison, and they just have to shove it over. Glover, Bass, back to Glover. The tip is blocked at the net and falls on the Rougher side, which means it's McAllister's point. 7-5. Around this time was when the separation started happening in set number 1. Service by Bass just clears the net. The Roughers just tip it over one-handed. Moscato to Bass. Over to Bradish, right side, and it's once again blocked at the net, but falls off on the Muskogee side. So McAlester gets another point. They've made a living doing that at the net so far this evening. It's 8-5. Bass on the service. The Roughers at the net. It's blocked, and Moscato dives, but can't get it up to get over the net, so it's 8-6. Roughers get a point back there. We've got a substitution for Muskogee. It's a frontline sub. So Roughers service coming. Sends it over middle. Harvey on the dig. Over to Bass. Bass to Moscato, who rises. Hits backside. It takes a weird bounce for the Roughers, but they're able to get it back. And no, it's misplayed. McAlester goes up 9-6. So Kylie Glover going back to serve now. Buffalo's up by 3. Strong service. Glover, she's got a lot of power on that right-hand swing. Sometimes it just clears the back line. But you still have a lead here, 9-7, as it goes back to Muskogee. Roughers service here, down 2. It's deep. Glover digs it out over to Bass near the net. The setup to Moscato, who rises. Her shot's blocked, and she punches in. Harvey with the setup to Bass, who just has to send it over. The Roughers have it now. Going for the kill at the net. Tips it over the hands, and they're going to say she touched the net on the Muskogee side. No, McAlester, I believe. So that favors the Roughers, 9-8. Muskogee now down just 1. After being down by 3, it's 9-8. Glover with the dig out of the back. Over to Bass once again to set up to Moscato. It's Harrison, actually, the soft hit. Almost ends up being fruitful for a point, but the Roughers get it back. Bass to Harvey. Harvey the setup again. Bradish. She spikes it right into the net, and we're all knotted up here at 9. Here in what is set number 2, McAlester leads in 1-0. Roughers serve into the net, so McAlester gets it back. And just like that, it's 10-9. This is around the time when McAlester took their commanding lead in set number 1 as Hannah Harrison checks down for Elena Christie. Maddie Harvey on the service. Diving to save it is a Rougher. They'll send it over softly. Bass over to Harvey. Harvey up to Moscato, who rises. Soft hit and didn't quite clear the net, but the Roughers knocked it over, and the McAlester Buffaloes couldn't return it. There's an awkward spot, so it's 10-10. All evened up here in double digits. Service for the Roughers. Harvey digs it out. Bass over to Christie. Left-handed tap is returned. Set up. Sent over the net. Bass now again over to Christie. The setup to Moscato, who has a two-hand send. That's dug out and sent over back to Bass. Bradish. No, it's going to go over to Moscato. Moscato, one-hand send. Another setup, a pretty good volley here, back and forth. Glover now over to Bass. Moscato will rise, two-hand again, goes far side, but once again, there's a Rougher there. The soft tap, Moscato with the setup to Bass, over to Bradish, right side, two-hand send. This has been a very lengthy back and forth that ends in a McAlester point. The women in black on top here, 11-10. So that was a long volley back and forth. But McAlester the beneficiary. And Bradish serves it into the net. It goes right back to Muskogee. We're all evened up at 11. This one's been much more back and forth. And Lexi Pico will check in for Logan Bradish. So Muskogee on the serve. It's a good one. Harvey digs it out. Front side to Bass. The Roughers have it again. Going for the kill, too strong. McAlester goes back on top. Moscato will go back to serve. We're back to the top of the order now. We've got another substitution on the Muskogee side. So Moscato on the serve again. Dug out by a rougher. Far side, it's awkward. Just barely tapped over. Christina Bass. Bass set up again. And Glover has her hit. Was tipped, but no, they're going to say it's a rougher point. I think Glover went over the net or crossed. So we're all evened up at 12 apiece. It's high noon on both sides. And it's the rougher serve here. Clears over. Dug out by Pico. Bass over to Glover. Glover with a strong send, but it's saved by Rougher. They've got to send it over. It's their third hit. Moscato has it over to Bass. Bass, the setup and the kill for Elena Christie, who rises up and slams it in for a 1-point lead. It's 13-12 now. That one came down with some force. McAlester on the service into the net. The last couple times now that's happened. So they've not been able to expand on a 1-point lead. And Christie comes off now for Maddie Harvey. $13 all here, a baker's dozen apiece. It's the Roughers side now on the serve. It's a good one. It's a service ace. Nobody in that middle spot. Moscato had to dive for it. She couldn't get there. So the Roughers, they go on top. Seems like it's the first time this game they've gone on top, or this set, I beg your pardon. 13-14, it's a weak serve that hits the net. It's been a couple of those back and forth. No team really separating themselves here in the second set. Ellie Bass will be back to serve as Hannah Harrison comes in. All knotted up at 14, a good serve. Near side, not able to be returned, and that's a service ace for Ellie Bass. McAlester up 1, 15-14. Bass on the serve again. Roughers backside. Man, it's going to be a weird, deep third hit, and it does not clear the net. Put yourself in a tough spot there on the first two hits when you've got to return it from the back left side. Not able to clear. McAlester goes up 2. 16-14. Served by Bass again. The tip over and a point on the kill for the Roughers there. Just found the open spot on the far side, right in front of Ellie Bass. And it's back to a 1-point game. Again, no team separating themselves. It's been 1-2 just about the whole time. McAlester was up 9-6, but since then we've been pretty much landlocked. But Glover can't get a good play off the serve. It's another ace. 16 all here. So Roughers serve again from the left side. It's a soft one. Harvey lays out for it. And Bass saves it off the net, and Hannah Harrison gets it over. Man, that was a very good save by the Lady Buffs. At the net, it's blocked by Bradish, who hits it over to Harvey out of bounds. And the Roughers now, they've scored 2 of the last 3 points to go up by 1. And actually, I believe they've scored 3 in a row as they were down 16-14. So the Roughers trying to even it up at 1-all on the sets here as McAlester won the first one. A soft serve. No ice cream here, though. Pass over to Moscato. The hard sand, and it clears off of a Rougher to the backside and out of bounds. McAlester ties it all up at 17 apiece. Kylie Glover now. She's got a strong arm on her. She'll go back for the serve, as you can see on the right side of your screen. She'll rise up and send it. Clears off a Rougher, but goes the wrong direction. They have to send it long. Back to Glover again, up by the net for Bass. The setup to Moscato. Rises two-hand send to the opposite side where there was some open court near the sideline. And it clears McAlester back on the high side. 18-17. Kylie Glover on the serve again. It's a good one. Near side Roughers send it over softly. Moscato with the setup over to Bass, and Bass will send it. The Roughers have it to Moscato now, over to Bass. Glover rises up, sends it right into the net. She's got plenty of strength on it to where it's hard enough to return, but on stuff like that, if you don't have the height, you're going to go into the net every time, no matter how hard you hit it. We're all knotted up at 18 here. Serve does not stay in bounds, and McAlester goes back up by 1. It's been a lot of serve points so far, whether it be out of bounds or service aces. And Maddie Harvey comes in to serve for the Lady Buffaloes. McAlester up by 1. Served by Harvey. The Roughers on their side. The setup for the kill opportunity, and it doesn't clear the net. McAlester goes up by 2 now. And honestly, going up by 2 feels like an eternity of a lead here. It's because you've just been right at the tie or a 1-point lead going back and forth. So we'll see if they can expand on it, up by 2. 20-18 in set 2. Harvey on the send. The Roughers have it, and it goes out off the return. 21-18 now. Lady Buffaloes on top by 3. We've got our first time out of set number 2. We'll take it with them. McAlester leads it 21-18, trying to go up 2 sets to none. You're listening live to the McAlester radio coverage of McAlester Volleyball on our YouTube page.
McAlester softball and volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Maybe. Welcome back, McAlester, here at set number 2 with the service up by 3. It's 21-18. The Roughers in a weird spot on the return. Glover digs it out, and Bass saves it off the net. Glover sends it over. McAlester once again up by 3. The Roughers have it at the net. The spike, and Harvey saves it. She digs it out over to Bass. Moscato rises up, sends it to the backside, and they go up by 4. 22-18 here at the MAC. Lady Buffs trying to make it 2 sets to none. Maddie Harvey back for the service once again, and it just comes off the bottom side of her palm. And that ends what was a 4-0 run. McAlester up by 3, though. You just can't give up another 3 on the return from Muskogee. You've got the lead here. This is where you can put your foot down and hopefully close this thing out after just one more set. Harvey over to Bradish. It's going to have to be a long hit to send it over, and Bass will do that. The Roughers have it at the net. The setup, the kill, backside, saved by Bass. And some miscommunication on the return after the hit, and it's a 2-point game. 22-20 now. Roughers on the low side. With the serve. Over to Glover. And there's nobody there after the first hit from Glover. So there's the run that I mentioned McAlester didn't want to give up. It's a 3-0 run by Muskogee, and it's a 1-point game here in set number 2. The Roughers on the serve. Glover up to Bass. Bass over to Bradish, right side. She'll send it out of the back, and that's going to be a McAlester point. They'll take it back up by 2, 23-21. And now Bradish, she'll go back for the serve. Bradish on the serve. It clears. The Roughers have it. Down by 2. Far side send. Harvey saves it from the sideline. Over to Bass. Bass, the 2-hand hit up to Moscato. The soft tap, and it falls down. It's set point. McAlester looking to take a commanding lead here, making it 2 sets to none as they lead at 24-21. Logan Bradish back on the service once again. She'll send it over. It clears, and it's tipped off of a rubber twice. And McAlester takes a commanding 2-0 lead. We'll take about a 2-minute break. We'll come back for what could be a deciding set number 3 as the Lady Buffs look to close out the Muskogee Roughers here at home. We'll be right back. You're listening to Lady Buffalo Volleyball on the McAlester Radio YouTube page.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what could be a deciding set number 3 here at the MAC here in McAlester, as the Lady Buffaloes are up 2-0 after a 25-15 set 1 victory and a 25-21 set 2 win as well. Hannah Harrison is about to come off the floor for Maddie Harvey. That'll leave Kylie Glover, Jalen Moscato, Ellie Bass, Elena Christie, and Logan Bradish as the 6 for the Lady Buffaloes. So conversation with the official scorer on the far side of the net, but I think whatever the conversation was is just about cleared up and we're ready to get underway. Maybe we don't have a volleyball on the floor right now. Now it goes to Muskogee, and we're ready to get underway for, once again, set number 3. McAlester now looking to close things out here. They need to just win this last set to come away victorious, and with win number 15, Harvey on the first return. Over to Christie, who spikes it into the net. Muskogee takes an early 1-0 lead. Now, so far, the team that has scored first in the first 2 sets has ended up winning the sets. McAlester scored first both times here. Hopefully that doesn't ring true in the third, as Muskogee scored first. The Roughers trying to get the setup on the far side, and it's just out of bounds. Nice eye by the Lady Buffaloes. They knotted up at 1. And Logan Bradish goes back to serve. She was the one serving when they closed out set 2. And very early here, within the first 10 points, it's gone back and forth, both in the first 2 sets. No team really separating themselves until later. And what a kill that time by the Lady Roughers. No opportunity there on the return. 2-1 is the score here. Roughers on the serve, down by 1. Up by 1, I beg your pardon. Into the net. McAlester ties it up, 2-2. And that'll send Jalen Moscato, the senior, back to serve. A senior-heavy lineup as well for McAlester. Moscato clears the net. Roughers going for the setup. It's blocked by Christie, back to the Roughers. A one-hand send, Harvey sent it up high to Bass. Bass over to Moscato, who will rise up the two-hand tap. The Roughers are going to go for their kill opportunity, and it hits the back inside the line. So Muskogee goes up by 1. That's a couple times now Muskogee has found that back near side for McAlester. For those of you watching, it'd be the back right side. I guess if you're listening, you have to be watching. We're only on YouTube. The Roughers send it over. Moscato has it to Glover, who rises up and spikes it into the net. So Muskogee doubling up the Buffaloes here early. It's 4-2. The Roughers on the serve. Picote over to Bass, who sends it up softly to Christie, and that was just an awkward hit. And the Roughers were able to block it at the net. They go up by 3. And honestly, 3 may be their largest lead of any set. McAllister's done a very good job of being in command the first 2. Now they're only down 3, which is not, by any sense of the word, an insurmountable lead. As Glover rises up, and it's tipped, I think, 3 times, but the Roughers somehow get it back over. Bass sends it with 2 hands. Back to Muskogee. They'll rise up, going for the backside, blocked at the net. Digging it out is Picote, but it goes out of bounds. The Roughers here up early, 6-2 in set number 3. But again, things can change. McAlester has gone on plenty big runs so far of their own. Moscato to Bass. Bass sends it over with 2 hands. The Roughers set up backwards, far side. Spike is blocked at the net, and it falls down. And the Roughers can't get it over. Hit the net and went straight down. They did clear it before it hit the net, but did not get it back over the net. So McAlester finally gets a point back to break up that scoring run. And it's 3-6. Elena Christie going back to serve now. Her last one went into the net. We'll see if she can clear this time. She'll send it in, it does. It's a good serve, and that's a service ace. Christie with a redemption, and it's 4-6. McAlester scored 2 straight here. See if we can't make it 3 or 4 and tie this thing up at 6. Christie back again for the serve. It's another good, strong one. The Roughers send it a mile high, and it's blocked at the net by Harrison, but I don't think it would have cleared regardless. Either way, McAlester, they get another point back. It's a 3-0 run. It's 5-6 now. These Lady Buffaloes, it's just they're a fierce group. Very good defensively, and they have a lot of good ball strikers. And as soon as I say that, Christie sends it out of the back of the out of bounds. So 7-5, Muskogee goes back up by 2. Hannah Harrison back on the floor now for McAlester. And it's 5-7 here. Roughers on the high side with the service. Not a very strong one, doesn't clear. McAlester gets a point back just like that. And it's 6-7. Logan Bradish, actually I beg your pardon, that was Ellie Bass going back to serve now. Logan Bradish on the front line with Kylie Glover and Hannah Harrison. The Roughers, they'll send it over, blocked by Harrison. A soft send over to Glover. Bass back over to Moscato. She'll rise, 2-hand tap to the open spot. Man, she is so good at finding the open spots. And it's 7-all. Service now for Bass. Bass over to the Roughers. Their second hit's in a weird spot. One-hand send over. Pass to Harvey. Harvey, the setup looks like to Bradish. It's blocked at the net, but falls on the Roughers side. And McAlester back on top. It's a 6-1 run after they trailed it 2-6. They're now up 7-8. Pass on the send. It's a good one. It's a far one. The Roughers in a weird spot, but they get it. Send it over to Moscato. Moscato to Bass. Bass back over to Glover, who off the backside can't be returned. A strong hit that flies out of bounds. McAlester up by 2 now. Make that a 7-1 run. Mentioned McAlester very good at making runs. Back to the Roughers. Glover now to Bass, to Bradish, who sends it over, and it is a nice return. Dug out by Bass now, over to Harvey. And Bass clears it, it's on the Roughers side. A nice little volley back and forth so far. At the net, Glover, two-hand send over. It's a long one out of the back, Harvey with the save for McAlester. Harrison sends it over her head. It's a long volley back and forth so far. And it hits the net for the Roughers. They can't get it over. McAlester up by 3 now. For reference, they were down 2-6. Ellie Bass back to serve again. That's a long one, but it would have stayed in, and that's a service ace as there was nobody in front of the back line for the Roughers. And I think they're saying maybe it would have gone over if she wouldn't have touched it, but I don't know. Regardless, McAllister's up by 4 now. We've got a timeout. McAlester now on a 9-1 run as they lead it 11-7 in set number 3. We'll be right back. You're listening to and watching McAlester Volleyball on the McAlester Radio YouTube page.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and
Welcome back out of that timeout. McAlester leading it by 4, 11-7 here in set 3. McAlester already leads it 2-0. Ellie Bass once again on the serve. The Roughers at the net going for the setup for the kill, and it hits the net. Point McAlester. It's a 10-1 run as it's 12-7. McAlester up by 5. The Roughers, they had an early run, but I mentioned earlier McAlester made a great run back. And now lead it by 5 after they trailed it by 4. So it's a 9-point swing. 12-7, the Roughers. An awkward hit, but they get it over. Harvey off the backside near the line. Over to Bass. Bass to Harrison. A good send. The Roughers with a nice return as well. Harvey plays off of her arms into the back stands, and that's a point. For the Roughers now, and they get it back. It's 12-8. That'll stop what was a 10-1 run. Still, though, a 10-2 run for McAlester. 12-8 is the score. Pass over to Harrison. Rises up, sends it, but the Roughers have it. Set up for the return. Hits the net once again on the far side. They've not been able to clear it on that side yet. 13-8 is the score now. Kylie Glover on the serve. It's a good one. And, man, a nice return. It clears on the first hit. Not something I've seen yet here. And Moscato tips it over two-handed, but a nice return by the Roughers, and it's almost misplayed. Bradish with the setup to Bass, who sends it over to Harrison. It's cleared back over. Far side, soft send. Diving is Harvey, and it clears the net. Glover. Bass, the setup now to Moscato, who rises up. It's into the net. She gets her save, though, and it clears, and Muskogee sends it backwards. The Roughers have to clear it here, and they do. It's over to Harvey. Harvey up to Bass. Bass to set up now to Harrison. Backside, I think that's in. I think they're saying that's Muskogee's point. I thought that hit the line, or it might have just been over. So 13-9. There is some talk about it, but it is point for Muskogee. It looked like it might have been in, but they've got a closer look than we do. So 13-9, Muskogee down by 4. Reminder, they led it 6-2 at one point. Service over to Harvey. Up to Bass, who sets it up for Moscato. Rises up, and it is dug out. Roughers on the return. Hits the net, dug out by Glover. Over to Bass to set up to Moscato once again. Going for the kill, backside, and it's out of bounds. The Lady Buffaloes are saying it was touched by a rougher. So they're going to say, yeah, point Roughers. The backside marker said she couldn't see what happened. She didn't see it. So it's point to Muskogee. It's 13-10. Service to Harvey. Up near the net to Bass. Harrison sends it over with two hands. Beg your pardon, that was Harrison. And then Muskogee gets kind of just an awkward fall to their benefit. And it's 13-11 now. Oh, no, wait. They're saying point McAlester. I'm not quite sure what it was. Again, that's just me not being around volleyball as much. But either way, McAlester gets the point back. But Muskogee, they're wanting some clarification on the call. Either way, McAlester is on the high side. Whether this point is given or taken away, they'll still lead it. Right now it's 14-10 with the point. Without it, it'd be 13-11. They'll give McAlester the point, and it's 14-10. So McAlester up by 4 here. Maddie Harvey back deep to serve. Harvey on the service. The Roughers, they dig it out. The setup at the net. The soft hit over is blocked by Christie. But with Christie blocking it, there was nobody behind her to clear it once it hit off of her hands. Okay, so they're saying a Rougher last time was out of bounds when the ball was touched, so that was the call. That's why McAlester got that point. 14-11 is the score, though. Harvey digs out that serve over to Bass. And Christie spikes it into the net. 14-12. McAlester still on the high side, lead it by 2, 14-12. Here's a Rougher service. Bass at the net, over to Christie with the kill, with ferocity on the near side. As McAlester goes up by 3, 15-12 here in set number 3. McAlester wins this set. They win the match. Logan Bradish back to serve. It's a good one off the backside, mishandled, but the Roughers have an opportunity to clear, and they do. Harvey over to Bass. Bass the set up to Moscato, who rises and gets the kill. Jalen Moscato, who else would it be, rises up and sends it home on the far side. McAlester goes up 4. It's 16-12, and Bradish on the service once again. Dug out by the Roughers. Kind of an awkward spot. They've got to send it over, though, and Glover gets it with 2 hands. Over to Moscato, the 2-hand tap. Set up for the Roughers, going for the kill. It's blocked and hit off of Bradish's face. And then Bass had an opportunity, but not enough height on it. Ends up being a point for Muskogee. It's 16-13 now. Goes back now to Muskogee down 3, 16-13. Glover saves it over to Bass. Moscato, 2-hand send. It's saved by the libero from Muskogee. By a spike, the kill for the Roughers. It's 16-14. Still a 2-point game, though. McAlester has led since they went on that 10-1 run when they were down 6-2. They went up 12-7, which was their largest lead. Again, they still lead it, though. And a long service goes out of bounds. McAlester gets a point back. 17-14. Jalen Moscato on the service. The Roughers get it off the backside. Going for the kill, and it stays in. Moscato thought maybe it was going to be out, but it did just stay in on the near side. It's now 17-15, though. McAlester still up by 2. McAlester 8 points away from the match win. Roughers service. Moscato on the return. Does not clear the net, and it's an awkward play off the bounce from Bass, and it goes out of bounds. Point Muskogee. It's now a 1-point game, 17-16. The libero for Muskogee on the serve here. Harvey digs it out to Bass. Bass over to Christie, who rises up, and it's saved by a Rougher. It's got to be a long send, and it is to Harvey on the McAlester side. Back to Bass and set up for Moscato. Rises up, and that's Glover. Check that, who sends it in for a point. McAlester gets another one. It's 18-16. Harvey comes out for Elena Christie on the McAlester side, and Christie going back to serve. Had a service ace one of her last times up. The Roughers can't return it. That's another service ace. 19-16. Christie back to serve again. It's a good one, but too strong. And it's a 2-point game. McAlester just 6 points away from the win here. Muskogee with the substitution. Rougher service on the left side now, down 2. Also down 2-0. Moscato on the setup on the return. Pass over to Glover. Rises up, it's blocked at the net. And the Roughers hit the scoreboard, but no point awarded. Moscato has it. Her setup over to Bass. Bass over to Glover. One-hand send into the net. I don't know how McAlester didn't get a point there, because earlier it hit the scoreboard and McAlester was given a point, but that time no point. I'm not sure there. Either way, McAlester still leads it. They've not trailed since very early in the game, 5-6. That was the last time they trailed. 19-18, Glover sends it one-handed over. The Roughers have it. The setup far side for the kill, and Harvey digs it out. Bass at the netting. Glover once again sends it into the net. Glover she's got so much power on that spike that sometimes the trajectory is not high enough with how far back she jumps. But when it clears, it's very tough to be returned, as we've seen that. Nice dig out by Lexi Pico, and it clears the net, and it's blocked by Ellie Bass to send it over for a point. McAlester hits 21st, and they're back on the high side. What a play by Ellie Bass. That was huge, as that was just kind of a softball, a lame duck, where Muskogee would have had an opportunity for a kill. Now Bass on the serve. Muskogee has it down 1. The soft sing. Moscato over to Bass. Bass over to Bradish. It's an awkward spot, but Bradish saves it. It's a point for Muskogee. Bradish was out of bounds on the send, and that's what it was. And we're all knotted up at 20. So it's essentially the first 1 to 5 here, and you got to win by 2. McAlester going for all the marbles here, trying to grab the win. Muskogee trying to just extend the game here tonight. And they take their first lead since it was 6-5. Muskogee up by 1, 20-21. Service back for Muskogee. Glover on the save. Over to Bass. Bradish sends it, hits the net, and it's dug out by a Rougher. The Roughers have it far side. Send it with some height over to Harvey. Harvey to Bass. Moscato two-hand sends it. The Roughers get it back. And it goes out of bounds. McAlester ties it up. 21 all here. McAlester, if they can take the lead here and hold on, they might be able to cruise on into a win. 21 all. Glover on the serve. It's a good one. It's deep as well. The Roughers have got to send it over. Not going to have an opportunity at a really strong kill. And Glover hits it up. Harvey over to Bass. Bass sends it. It's back on the Muskogee side. Going for a kill. Nice save by Harvey. And Bass over now to Moscato. She'll send it out of the backside. Muskogee back on top. We've got a substitution for the Roughers as well. McAlester down by 1 here. 21-22. Muskogee on the service, looking to win their first set. Glover hits it up over to Bass. Bass to Harrison, clears the net. It's on the Muskogee side. Going for the kill. Glover digs it out. Diving to save it is Bass. Over to Moscato, and they get it back. The Roughers have it, going for the kill at the net. Harvey digs it out. Bass over to Moscato. She'll rise up, hit it off the backside. And the Roughers get it up. Going for the kill, and it's tipped by a Buffalo. And it's a Rougher point. 23-21. Muskogee on a 3-1 run right now and 2 points away from winning their first set. We'll take a break with it. We'll be right back. You're watching and listening to the McAlester Lady Buffalo Volleyball stream on the McAlester Radio YouTube page.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Welcome back out of that timeout. Muskogee with the serve as they trail it, or they lead it actually, 23-21 in set number 3 over the Lady Buffaloes. This is a deciding set here as McAlester leads it 2-0. Harvey on the dig out from the serve over to Bass. Harrison with the one-hand tip over, and the Roughers, they just do. They hit the scoreboard, and they can't get a return, and McAlester gets a point back. 22-23. Now this is where you need to make sure you don't give this ball back. This is a big turning point. McAlester leads at 22-23, or trails 22-23, looking to tie it up and possibly take the lead on this series of serves. Harvey on the service. Hits the net. It's one thing you can't have happen, especially in those kinds of moments. They could be momentum killers, but we'll see how McAlester responds. Down by 2 points. If you tie it up, if you're McAlester, you got to score 26 at least to win. Glover over to Bass. Bass to set up to Christie with a spike, and McAlester gets a point back. A kill for Christie. And it's a 1-point game. McAlester gets it back to Logan Bradish. Again, you don't want this to end on a service into the net. Bradish on the serve now. It clears. It's a good one, and the Roughers can't get it over. And we're tied up at 24. Now it's whoever wins the best 2 out of 3 next points. You got to go up by 2 to win. It was looking bleak, but McAlester pulls it back in. We're all knotted up at 24. The Roughers have it. And some miscommunication. They just barely clear it over the net. And it's blocked by Bass, and the Roughers clear it over. Glover back to Bass, over to Moscato. It's blocked at the net, and it falls. McAlester, they take a 1-point lead. 25-24, and it's set point here. McAlester can win it on this serve. Also game point. The clock is running up here, maybe for a possible timeout, and we're going to get it. McAlester, trailing 24-22, has come back to take the lead, and now it's game point at 25-24. We'll be right back in 30 seconds. You're watching McAlester Lady Buffaloes Volleyball.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite.
Welcome back to the MAC. McAlester up by 1, looking to close this game out with a 3-0 win over the Muskogee Roughers, 25-24. Logan Bradish on the service here. Over the net. The Roughers have it. Out of bounds. They do get it back in, though, and they clear it over the net. Moscato now over the pass. The setup. Moscato rises. It's hit. The Roughers get it back on their side. The setup. The deep hit for the kill. Diving is Glover, and it's over the pass. Moscato rises up, sends it over, backside, and it's just out. Tied back up at 25, and now it's win by 2 all over again. It essentially becomes, when you get to tennis, you get advantage, and then you lose it, and you're back to even. 25 all here. Muskogee on the serve. Over to Glover. Glover to pass. The setup, Moscato rises up, sends it with 2 hands. The Roughers going for a kill. Not a strong one. Glover has it over to Bass, who gives the setup again. Rising up, Moscato is tipped, falls. The Rougher lays out for it, and they get it. A long return coming here. It clears. Glover over to Bass. Once again, the setup, Moscato. She'll jump into the net. Christie saves it, and I think it's going to be a point for the Roughers. And it is. 25-26, Muskogee with the advantage. Set point right here. Service, Harvey digs it out. Over to Bass. Bass sends it with 2 hands unexpectedly, but the Roughers were able to play it off. They get it over, and it hits Glover, and we're going to go to another set. Muskogee wins their first set, 27-25. We're going to go ahead and take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Lady Buffalo Softball on the McAlester Radio YouTube page.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula, and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Welcome back now to set number 4 as the McAlester Lady Buffaloes and the Muskogee Lady Roughers have a good one here at the MAC. Your voice, Chase McNutt, joining you live here as the last one. It was the closest set we've had so far. It was a 27-25 win in that set for Muskogee, and it went down to the wire, went very back and forth. McAlester had a 26-25 lead, or excuse me, a 25-24 lead. And Muskogee was able to come back and grab a set 3 win, so it's now 2-1. Logan Bradish on the service, and set 4 is underway. The Roughers on the return into the net. So far, it's held true. Every team that has scored first has won the set. Muskogee scored first last set and they won. And now for McAlester, they've scored first here. So we'll see. Bradish on the service again. The Roughers get it over awkwardly. It looked like it might have been grabbed, but it was hit. Moscato over on the Rougher side. The setup, the send. Glover on the save. Bass the setup. Moscato rises up. Two-man tap. Laying out for it is a Rougher. And the long send. Glover has it. She'll just punch it. It's over to Bradish now. Tips off the backside, but a Rougher saves it. Muskogee on the send again. Glover at the net. It's Bass. Moscato, one-hand tap near the side. The Roughers get it up. Man, Muskogee playing much better defense than what we saw early. Christie, one-hand tap from Moscato. The Roughers do clear. Man, this has been a good volley. Bass over to Christie. He sends it down. The backside. The Roughers have to clear it here. And they do. Glover kicks it back up. Bass over to Moscato. She'll rise backside. It's saved by a Rougher. That would have been a Rougher point, but you get the benefit now from McAlester to keep playing. Glover to Bass. Christie blocked at the net and falls on the Muskogee side. So that's a McAlester point. 2-0. Service from Bradish goes into the net. And that's how Muskogee gets their first point of this set. Two to one now, Muskogee, their first service as Lexi Pico checks in for her first time. Two to one now. Service from Muskogee. Harvey over to Bass to set up Moscato once again. We've got a whistle. Trying to figure out what's going on real quick. Something to do with the lineup is what I heard. I'm not quite sure what it is. May have not been a proper check-in, or maybe somebody that's in is not on the roster. I'm just speculating. I'm not quite sure. Trying to read lips, but admittedly not very good at it. So a break in the action here. McAlester, they're leading it 3-1 in what is now set number 4. It was McAlester going up 25-15 to win set number 1. They won set number 2, a closer one, 25-21. And then Muskogee came back to win set number 3. 27-25. Still some conversation. I'm not quite sure. I think maybe we'll take a 30-second break. We'll be right back. You're watching McAlester Lady Buffalo Volleyball on the McAlester Radio YouTube page.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
All right, so a major break in the action has now finally concluded, and it looks like play will resume here on the floor. Chase McNutt joining you live at the MAC. Lady Buffaloes lead it in set number 4 over Muskogee, 3-1. I'm not quite sure what the stoppage was all about. So, okay, McAlester lost a point there. So all that just to take a point away, and now it's 2-1. Roughers on the serve. Bass over to Moscato. She'll tip it over. Glover on the save after the send back from the Roughers. Moscato the two-hand send. Dug out by the libero. The Roughers a high set up at the net. Glover dives, and it's hit off of her hand out of bounds. Muskogee ties it up at 2 apiece. And looking at the camera, you really can only see the Muskogee side, and as you can see, not a lot of people over there, but they are plenty loud as their younger classmen are over there being very loud with chants. As Glover sends it through the backside, it's 3-2. Muskogee takes their first lead of the game, or of this fourth set, I should say. 3-2, service Muskogee on the high side. Harvey over to Bass. It's just an awkward hit. A miscommunication. And it's 4-2. Muskogee on the service. It's over to Pico. Pico to Bass. Bass to Moscato. The one-hand send. Backside. The Roughers are there. Their defense has mightily improved over the last few sets. And Christie blocks it out of bounds on their side, which means Muskogee gets a point. It's 5-2 now. A 4-0 run by the Roughers. Harvey on the save over to Bass. Bass is set up to Moscato. It's blocked. And the Roughers, they get it back. The send. Harvey digs it out. Bass. Moscato rises up, sends it backside. It's saved by the Roughers. Glover. Bass. Christie, and that falls in for a kill. That one was blocked off the hand, and it's 3-5. McAlester down 2. Moscato on the serve, far side. The Roughers have it. At the net, knocks it right into it, and McAlester now has scored 2 in a row. It's a 1-point game. Moscato back on the service again. Down by 1 is McAlester. At the net, sent long, but Harvey there. Bass the setup. Moscato, she'll rise up, send it to around the middle side. The Roughers have it. At the net, it's awkward, but it's sent down by Ellie Bass for the kill. And we're all knotted up at 5. McAlester returns a run of their own. It's 5-5. Moscato back again on the serve. She'll send it over. And the hit clears on the first return from the Roughers. Glover raises up and hits it into the net. 5-6. Muskogee back on top. Roughers on the serve, up by 1. Moscato going down to the floor, but sets it up. Christie just hits it over with 2 fists. Back to Muskogee. The setup on the far side. The spike at the net is blocked, and it clears on the McAlester side. And that is going to be a rougher point. 7-5. McAllister's going to take a timeout. They trail it by 2 here in set number 4, 7-5. We'll be right back. You're watching the McAlester Lady Buffalo volleyball stream on the McAlester Radio YouTube page.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
McAlester softball and volleyball.
Welcome back from that timeout. Lady Roughers have it up by 2 here in set 4. It's 7-5. McAlester trying to end it here instead of letting it crawl over to another deciding set number 5. And nobody goes for the serve, and it lands at bounce. McAlester has just not looked the same since the latter part of set number 3. Just a lot of miscommunications. 8-5. The Roughers on the serve. It's a low one, but Harvey digs it out. Ellie Bass retreats to grab it over to Glover, and she'll just clear it. Backside, it stays in. Man, don't know if she meant to do that, but she found the one open spot in the back corner to give McAlester a point. 6-8. It's Elena Christie's turn to send the ball over. Christie over to the Roughers now. At the net, it's sent over by Bass. The Roughers have it. And Moscato can't handle the send. And it's 6-9.
Kelly Jones.
Roughers serve up by 3. It's a low one, but it's dug out by Pico. And McAlester ends up getting a point back there at 7-9. So that goes back to Ellie Bass. Her turn to serve now. McAlester down by 2. And she spikes it into the net. Just a lot of mistakes from McAlester tonight. But still lead at 2-1. 10-7 is the score. Roughers up by 3. Here's the serve. Laying out for it is Glover. Over to Bass, who saves it. Moscato with the one-hand send, and it's saved. The Roughers on the return. It's blocked at the net, but nobody next to where the ball ricocheted from off of Hannah Harrison. Leads to another point for Muskogee. Reminder, if Muskogee wins this set, we'll play one more. 7-11. Muskogee on the serve. It's a high one, much different than what we've seen. It's over to Bass. The tip over to Harrison, who just throws it down, and the Roughers two-hand shove it over. Back to Bass. The setup. Glover knocks it over and down for a point. It's 11-8 now. McAlester just has not been able to find any kind of consistency, really, since the latter part of set 3 now into what is set number 4. We got to string together some points. And a service ace as soon as I say that from Kylie Glover. It's a big one. So Glover back to serve again. The Roughers, the setup, the send. Bradish touched it, but Muskogee gets the point. Bradish, I think, went over the net. And it's 12-9. Muskogee up 12-9 now. And the Roughers on the return. It's a good serve. Moscato over to Bass. Bass the backward setup. Harrison spikes it down, but the Roughers save it. And they're going to say, I think, a Buffalo went over the net. Don't think Coach Burns agrees with it, but that is the call. So 9-13. We've got, is that a service ace? Service ace. Looked away for a second, but Muskogee now up by 5 and seemingly has all of the momentum here. McAllister's got to figure something out here. Just to swing momentum back onto their side. 14-9. Serve. Laying out is Harvey. Moscato the setup. Harvey will send it over after calling for it. The Roughers have it on their side. The setup on for the spike. Out of the backside. Glover should have just let it go. Harvey hits it and it hits the rim, or excuse me, the backboard of another goal. But that was misplayed by Glover. That one would have cleared out and it would have been a point for McAllister. Again, just another mistake. We've got a timeout. McAllister trails it 15-9. We'll be right back.
McAlester softball and volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Welcome back. It's 15-9. McAllister down by 6, and Muskogee being very loud, although they're on the road. Have a nice contingency of their own fans and players, and we've got a service ace. Again, McAllister just looks discombobulated, for lack of a better term. Another miscommunication. Glover and Harrison going back and forth about who should have played that serve, and now Muskogee going for another serve here. And Glover, man, just barely plays it off, and Moscato taps it over on the rougher side. The spike, and McAllister gets a point back. 10-6. Now, while we're not into dire straits yet, but McAllister is really looking down the barrel here on the wrong side of it, but they've made plenty of runs on their own. Just in set number 2, they had a 10-2 run. We'll see if they can do that again. Right now is the best time for it. Maddie Harvey with the serve. The Roughers on the return. The setup at the net, going for the kill. The soft tap over to Harvey. Bass on the setup. Moscato rises up. She'll send it backside, and it's hit off of a Rougher. Out of play. McAllister 2 points back. It's 11-16. There's a 2-0 run. This is where McAllister can swing some of the momentum back their way. Harvey joined by Kylie Glover, Ellie Bass, Jalen Moscato. And that's going to be a point for Muskogee, a serve into the net. They just have not been able to escape that tonight. 17-11, Muskogee on the serve in a very good position right now. Looking like we might end up taking this all the way to set number 5. Glover laying out on the serve and a one-handed hit. Moscato, again, all over the place, miscommunication. 11-18. Muskogee with all the momentum right now. It's 11-18. Moscato's unable to save that after Glover laid out for it. It's another serve, and it's into the net. Finally, Muskogee makes a mistake on their own side. (18-12). It goes to Logan Bradish now for McAllister. Down by 6. This is their largest deficit in any set. And Bradish hits it out of bounds. Another point for Muskogee. 19-12 is the score. We've got a substitution from the Roughers. Ever since that long timeout when McAllister led 2-1, since then it's been all Muskogee, 11-17. Bass lays out for it, and Glover sends it over one-handed with some steam on it. The Roughers have it. Blocked at the net. Bass back over to Harvey. Two-hand send. The Roughers at the net. It's blocked by Christie. Back to Bass, and it's sent down for a McAlester point. 19-13. Now is the best time that you could possibly have for a McAlester run. Now, if you lose this set, you don't lose the match. That's the benefit of winning the first two. And a long serve by Moscato stays in. 14-9. There's two straight. They've not been able to string together more than 2 points in a row, though. Moscato, she's no stranger to service aces as she grabbed one there. We'll see if she can get another one. 14-9. Dug out. The Roughers on the return. Hit very high. Over to Harvey. Harvey to Bass. Bass to Glover, and it's miss hit. 20-14. Muskogee gets the point back. And honestly, it's just what McAllister's doing to themselves. It's been a lot of just mistakes on their own side. Not really anything Muskogee's doing, and there's a service ace. And this one looking like it's going to end up going 5. 14-21, McAlester down by a touchdown. Roughers on the serve. It's a long one. Moscato digs it out. Bass over to Glover. Two-hand hit, sends it over. Roughers up top, sent down by Bass. McAlester gets a point back. 15-21. Not quite going away yet. Haven't heard a bell. This one is still going along. McAlester down by 6. They just need one run. They've had a run in them every single set so far. Let's see if they have some more left in them here. 21-15, a good serve by Christie. The Roughers will set up at the net. It's blocked by Bass, and they get another point. 21-16, it's a 5-point game. Bass scoring the last 2 points for the Lady Buffaloes. Elena Christie back to serve again on the right side. Out of bounds. Muskogee gets a point back, 22-16. Again, just another mistake. 6-point deficit for the Lady Buffaloes. It goes back to the Roughers on the service. The libero sends it over. Moscato over to Bass, up to Glover, who sends it back, but the Roughers are there. A setup, a spike. Harvey, she digs it out. Bass over to Glover, the two-hand send, and I believe that's close. It's out of bounds. Muskogee with the point. Every time McAlester can get it down to 5 or less, Muskogee just responds with 2 or 3 of their own. They're 2 points away from winning set number 4. 16-23. Service from Muskogee. Bass the setup to Harrison, the two-hand tap. Back to Muskogee. The Roughers leaping up the soft tap, and they've got another point. Set point here. It's 24-16. And the outlook of this one has changed mightily over the last hour. McAlester, about an hour ago, was looking like they were going to close out 3-0. And now Muskogee looking to tie it up. It's set point, 24-16. Glover rising up. It's tipped. The Roughers have it, though. Rising up for the kill. Harvey with the save. Bass near the net to Moscato. The send. Roughers save it again. Going for a kill. It's just tapped over. Easily played by McAlester. Moscato rising up left side. It's hit on the back. They've got to send it over from deep. And they do just that. Harvey over to Bass once again. Rising up. Glover, the two-hand tap. Roughers dig it out of the ground, though. Muskogee far side on the send. Blocked at the net, and Bass can't get it. Muskogee went set number 4. And we're going to go to a deciding 5th set as we're all even at 2-2. We're going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back. You're listening and watching McAlester Lady Buffalo Volleyball on the McAlester Radio YouTube page.
McAlester Softball and Volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where For families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a deciding set number 5 here, as the Roughers have came all the way back after they were down 2-0. They've won 2 straight, 27-25, and now 25-16. And the Lady Buffaloes, they don't look the same than what they did the first 2 sets. Just a little bit more discombobulated, just a little bit out of what you normally would see them. Just talking, in terms of being in sync, but we'll see if they can regroup here in what will be the deciding set number 5. This will be the last one regardless. So we've got a good one here for you on the YouTube page only. We've got the live stream, McAlester Radio YouTube's page. No radio stream for these. And I hope we do not have another extended personnel conversation, because it looks like we're about to have one. McAlester with 6 players out that have been out there the whole time. Maddie Harvey on standby, looking like she might be getting ready to check in. And again, some more conversation, not really sure what the confusion is about. And we're good to go. Hannah Harrison will sit down for Maddie Harvey, Jalen Moscato, Kylie Glover, Logan Bradish, Elena Christie, and Ellie Bass, the 6 for the Lady Buffaloes, as we start set 5. So Bass on the serve, it's a high one. The Roughers have it now on the return, dug out by Harvey. Back to Bass. Bass to set up to Christie, rises up and sends it in for a kill. And that one had some steam on it. Maybe letting out some aggression, just some built-up anger from just what had happened the last set and a half. So now it's 1-0. McAlester on top. The Roughers on the return from the Bass serve. Far side hit in over to Christie. Bass to set up to Moscato, who rises up and sends it in. The Roughers do get it back up, though. Here's the return. And it hits the net. McAlester with a 2-0 early lead. It goes back to Bass. She'll serve again for the 3rd time here in set number 5. The Roughers on the return, rising up. And it's blocked by Christie. McAlester up 3-0. So an early 3-0 run. McAlester looking good right now. And Muskogee wants an early timeout. We'll take it with them. We'll be back in 60 seconds. McAlester leads it 3-0 in set number 5.
McAlester softball and volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment Highway.
Welcome back out of that timeout. McAlester up 3-0. The Roughers on the return after the Bass serve. Elena Christie just punches it over with one hand. Rising up for the kill, blocked at the net. Pass over to Harvey. Harvey over to Bradish. The two-hand send, dug out by a Rougher. At the net, the setup for the spike. Again, backside, it stays in. 3-1, Muskogee gets a point back out of that timeout. Three to 1 is the score here. Moscato on the setup over to Bass. Rising up, Christie going for the kill, but the Roughers dig it out. Backside, it's going to be a long send. Glover digs it out over to Bradish, and that was actually Bass with the set to Christie. Christie sent it over with two hands. The Roughers, Glover digs it out. Christie, the send with two hands. Not a bad idea. Another setup for a kill. At the net, it's blocked. Elena Christie. So McAlester gets the point. 4-1. There was some conversation. I don't know what it would have been about. 4-1 on the serve. It's 4-2 now. Moscato out of bounds. Just some more serve mistakes that we've seen from McAlester tonight. Muskogee on the other side has not had nearly as many services go into the net. And honestly, that has been a huge difference here in the latter part. And laying out for it, but sending it out of bounds into the stands is Moscato. I applaud the effort there. "4-3 is the score. Buffalo's up by one here at home over the Roughers. Here's the Muskogee serve, down one. Glover on the hit, over to Bass. The setup to Bradish. She'll send it over long, and it just leaks out of bounds. Muskogee gets a point back. 4-4, and it's a 3-0 run by Muskogee. And the Roughers just simply will not go away. Get Muskogee going for their 10th win. McAlester going for their 15th. Here's the serve to Harvey. Bass with the setup to Glover. Glover sends it over. The Roughers have it. The setup, rising up. And Moscato touches it, and it leaks out of bounds. So that means it's a Rougher point. A 4-0 run. (5-4) Muskogee service now. Here's the serve from the Roughers. Harvey digs it out over to Bass near the net. The setup for Christie. The send. It's blocked by the Roughers. They've got to get it over on the third hit at the net, and it's sent down by Elena Christie, but I think she crossed over the net. She did. So Muskogee gets the point. Yeah, they're going to say Christie reached over the net. And it's a 2-point game. 6-4 here. So service to Muskogee, up by 2. It's a 5-0 run by the Roughers. Moscato with the dig out. Pass over to Glover, rising up, sends it off the backside and off of a Rougher. McAlester scores. 6-5. Maddie Harvey back to serve. Trying to knot it all up here at 6. It's a high serve. Over to the Muskogee side. The setup at the net. And then reaching over the net for Muskogee. That's got to be a McAlester point, and it is. Finally, McAlester gets that call back. And Muskogee, confused, but very obviously reached over the net. I'm sitting right at the 50-yard line, so we've got a pretty straight-along view of that net. Harvey on the serve now. We're all even at 6. Muskogee at the net. And a backwards setup. They send it over two-handed. Moscato falling backwards with one hand. over to Harrison. Harrison sends it over. Back to Muskogee. It's blocked, and Harvey digs it out. Over to Bass to set up Moscato. She'll rise, two-hand send. The Roughers on the return. They just get it over. Bradish to Bass to Glover. The dig out by the libero. For Muskogee, and it's sent out of bounds. McAlester back on the high side. A 3-0 run. You can tell tensions are high here, as this is a very close game. Sets are all even at 2 apiece. This is the deciding set number 5. Harvey on the serve. It's dug out. Far side, Roughers, man, what a dig out by Ellie Bass over to Bradish, and Hannah Harrison sends it over. The Roughers get it back. The setup, they send it to Bass. Backwards, Harvey will send it closer to the net. Rising up is Moscato. She'll send it into the net. We're all tied at 7. Seven all now. Muskogee with the serve. Looks long, and Moscato, she hits it. I don't know, it's borderline. I don't hate the hit there. And Glover, again, showing that strength, hits it out. I like the idea, as there was no one in that corner, but just got to take a little bit of steam off of it. 7-8, Muskogee's back on top. Here's the service from the Roughers. Over to Moscato. Bass with the setup to Bradish on the right side. She'll send it. Muskogee, far side. Glover trying to block it. Harvey laying out for it. Saved by Bass, and that would take a Herculean effort by Logan Bradish to send it back. And Muskogee now up by 2. It's 7-9. Service from the Roughers. Pass over to Moscato. She'll jump. Backside too long. 10-7. Muskogee once again just with all the momentum here. McAlester just can't seem to get out of their own way. Harvey digs out that serve. Glover the two-hand send. Muskogee rising up for the kill, but it's blocked at the net. McAlester. And Harrison with a setup over to Bass, and then out of the backside, the Roughers find open ground. They go up by 4 here, 7-11. I believe it's a 5-0 run, maybe a 4-0 run. 5-0 run by Muskogee. We've got a timeout. We'll take it with them. The Roughers lead it in set number 5, 11-7.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula, and let us make it happen for you.
Welcome back out of that timeout. McAlester trails at 7-11 in set 5 to the Muskogee Roughers. We're all evened up at 2 sets apiece here. Moscato, she'll dig out the serve. Bass to Harrison. A nice send attempt there on the kill, but it's saved by Muskogee. A soft hit over to Ellie Bass. Harvey over to Bradish, right side. Two-hand send to the front line. Here comes the return. Blocked and off of Harvey's arm to the backside. 7-12, Muskogee now 6-0 run. McAlester led 7-6, and now Muskogee on the high side 12-7. All of these sets it's been a sets of runs on both sides. Here's the serve from the Roughers. And Moscato very smartly at the last second pulled back, and McAlester got a point there. Everything in her was telling her to hit it, but finally her brain came through and asked her not to make any contact there, and she pulled off very smartly, and it worked out. 12-8. Logan Bradish on the serve. McAlester feels like they haven't served in forever, and it may work out in their favor, and it will. McAlester gets a point back as the Roughers couldn't hit it over in the allotted maximum 3 attempts. 12-9. And as bad as it feels like McAlester has played, which really they haven't, they're only down 3. And we're all even at 2 sets apiece, and it's off of Moscato's hands, and it's going to range back behind him out of bounds. It's going to be a Muskogee point. It's 9-13. Lexi Pico is going to check in now for Logan Bradish. And McAlester, the first 2 sets, and even the third set, they had a run in them, but we've not seen a run since. We're going to need one here as they trail it by 4. Service from Muskogee. It's dug out by Pico, and it clears the net. Over to Muskogee side, going for the kill. The soft tapper at the net, up by Harrison, back over to Glover. She taps it over, the Roughers have it. They'll just punch it over, and a miscommunication by Glover. And you need to keep your tempers in check. Some jawing back and forth from Glover and someone on the Roughers side. And it's 14-9. And Glover will sit down now. Checking in for the first time is Shaylin Arnold. McAlester down by 5. Service from Muskogee hits the net and laying out for it, not able to get it. And Muskogee wins, as you've only got to win or get to 15 to win in set number 5. But that'll do it. McAlester, they fall 3 sets to 2 to the Muskogee Roughers. And we'll take one more break to close this out. We'll come back and recap it. McAlester falls in 5 sets, 3-2 to the 6A Muskogee Roughers.
McAlester softball and volleyball is being sponsored by Consignment Exchange, and I've been doing commercials for them since I was 8 years old. Here's the connection. My great-grandfather and grandmother started the business over 50 years ago. Now my papa, Nana, and Aunt Cleora have continued. The idea was to give a place where folks could buy quality previously owned furniture, and now it's grown as a place where families who need to liquidate estates or simply have something they need to sell, Consignment Exchange is that place. At 9 years old, I came up with the tag of McAllister's favorite furniture store is Consignment, Highway 69 South, and it still is.
Hey guys, it's Sam from Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula. With 2 locations to choose from, we have close to 200 vehicles on the ground and coming in. And with vehicles starting at $29.95, we have something for everyone. And if you need parts or service, we are loading up at both locations to serve you better. Plus, with our mobile service van and our pickup and delivery, we can help you with sales and service no matter where you are. So come see us at Sam Wampler's Freedom Ford in McAlester and Eufaula and let us make it happen for you.
McAlester Clothing Consignment accepts consignments on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. All items must be gently used and in good shape. Please label all bags, boxes, or totes with the consignor's name. The limit on bags is 2 13-gallon bags per consignor per week. The consignment split is 50-50. Hey bargain shoppers, we have all types of clothing, toys, hand tools, jewelry, sports equipment, and more. McAlester Clothing Consignment, 1212 South Main in McAlester behind the Dollar General. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Welcome back to the MAC as McAlester falls to Muskogee 3 sets to 2 after a 15-9 set 5 loss. McAlester looked to be in the driver's seat. They won set 1 25-15. They won set 2 25-21, and then things started to turn in set 3 as Muskogee won a very, very tightly contested set 3 27-25. They then beat McAlester by 9 in set 4 25-16, and then grabbed a 6-point set 5 victory to win the game. And Muskogee now improves to 10-8. They they break their 2-game losing streak. McAlester, they fall to 14-17. They now have lost 3 in a row. Before we get out of here, just want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in and listened tonight on our radio YouTube live stream. And also want to say thank you to our sponsors who are the reason that this all happens: Consignment Exchange, Freedom Ford, and McAlester Clothing Consignment. So for myself, Chase McNutt, and for the man behind the scenes on the graphics side and the camera work, that is my man Nate Brown. Tune in for us tomorrow on KNED and also right here on the YouTube page as the Buffaloes are set to host the Ada Cougars. It's Potac here in McAlester tomorrow night, a 7 o'clock kick with a 7:30 kick with a 6:45 pregame. Once again, that'll be over on 98.3 KNED. Have a good rest of your Thursday night. We'll see you tomorrow.